What's up guys, it's Andy here from 4K Downtime, here to give you a quick 4K news update. Yesterday we got an announcement that the Naruto Shippuden Trilogy Collection is coming to the Switch, and of course it includes the first the first 3 games. So unfortunately the most recent game being Ninja Storm 4 is not going to be included. They're just going to package the first 3 games onto the Switch. Now, for me personally, this isn't exactly what I want from Bandai Namco. However, I will say for fans of Naruto, or even for the people who have never really played these games and just wanted to find a good point to jump in, I'll say they're fairly good. But if you don't obviously follow the anime, because I'm not the biggest Naruto fan, but Shippuden is basically the sequel series to the original Naruto. So if you've never watched it or anything like that, you might feel a little lost, because as far as I know, these games are they're pretty story driven. As fighting game goes, yeah, they pretty much went out their way to recreate key scenes and key fights within the anime series, within the anime. So if you don't watch Naruto, you might feel a little bit lost, because I've seen my brothers play some of these games before, and yeah, even then I find it hard to follow, but that's primarily because I've never watched it. But anyway, back on topic, like I said, it's not exactly what I want from Bandai Namco. What I really want from them is Dragon Ball FighterZ, and despite that they have never actually denied that they will not bring it to the Switch, they have said that, alright, you know what, we're gonna wait until Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 is gonna sell like first before we actually make our decision. And of course the sales result for Xenoverse 2 has actually come out, and as far as I know, about when the very first time they announced how much it sold, I believe it's 500,000. So by now it's probably have sold more, but no accurate numbers have come out of this since. So hopefully to Bandai Namco that is good enough to warrant FighterZ to be on here, because I really want to play that game on the Switch, which is primarily the main reason why I actually haven't bought it for the other consoles. I know for a fact that it's a great game, played the beta, loved it, but of course that's a whole discussion for another time. But back to Naruto. So yeah, one thing I will say, yeah, that despite that I'm not really maybe the biggest fan of it, one thing I will say that Bandai Namco is doing that in my opinion is great, is that they decide to release it as a trilogy rather than just alright, we're just going to re-release 1, 2, 3 separately on the Switch. But no, they decided to give us a trilogy, which is great. So even if they set it at full price, I was thinking, alright, you know what, 3 games for the price of 1, it's alright, probably not too ludicrous. They did said it's going to come with all the DLCs as well, so that's nice. Now, the biggest question here, and that's the thing that pretty much everybody have asked as soon as they've announced that it was going to be a collection, is how much of it you're going to have to download. Meaning that I think everybody at this point have taken for granted that not the whole entire all 3 games is going to be on the same cartridge. There's at least going to be 1 or maybe, God forbid, even maybe 2 games that you might actually have to download, and only 1 of them is actually on the cartridge itself. The only reason why people are just kind of assuming that now is purely on the basis that every single, or should I say every kind of collection package that have came out on the Switch so far, it does not include the entire thing, the whole package into one singular cartridge. If you look at Resident Evil Revelations, again, you have 1 game on the cartridge, the other one doesn't. Revelations 2 you have to download, and of course you see the same thing that despite some games haven't came out yet, the very most recently with Mega Man, the whole fiasco with the Mega Man Legacy Collection. Once again, apparently only half of it is on the cartridge, the other half you have to download. And so Legacy Collection 1 is on the cartridge, but Legacy Collection 2 is not. It's another download code that you have to download onto your Switch, and that pissed off a great deal of people actually. So a lot of people just felt like, Capcom, why couldn't you just fit both of them on a singular cartridge? And there's no real reason why they couldn't do that, but again, I don't know what they were doing. Most recently, of course, with Bayonetta 2, collection as well. With 1 and 2, 1 you have to download, again only 2 is actually on the cartridge. So it seems like that's basically the way how these collections are. It's just not possible to have them all on the same cart. But in Naruto's case, because it's 3 games, and I'm just hoping, like God, hopefully they could at least fit 2 of them on the same cart, and then like maybe just have 1 that you need to download. And I just hopefully they'll do that, because it does get really irritating when, like, you know, companies come out of their way and say like, hey guys, we're giving you these collections, like, you know, this collection that consists all of these games, all DLCs and whatsoever, and then as soon as you buy it, you start to know that, oh, you're not really getting the whole package, like, you know, as a physical copy. So you kind of feel like you're being lied to. And I do understand when people criticize companies for doing that. Again, it doesn't bother me a great deal, but I think it's just purely because the Switch has such limited hardware capacity. Like, you know, literally have only 32 gigabytes. So if companies release games like that, yeah, like soon, you know, you're just gonna have to keep finding yourself like either consistently have to delete games and then reinstall them again, or in some cases, yeah, like, you know, the game could be even higher than the capacity like how much the Wii can actually handle, which with only 32 gigabytes, that's not enough. Like, you're just gonna have to, it almost felt like they're forcing you to buy a micro SD card, like, you know, to expand the storage. Otherwise there's no way you're going to, like, you know, install some of these games. So again, I see where people are coming from, like, you know, with arguments like this. So, but as of right now, if you ask me, I do very much believe that Bandai Namco probably will not be able to fit all of them on a singular cart. It's not that they can't even do it, it's just that because we know these carts comes in multiple different sizes, but some of these companies, obviously, they don't want to pay, like, you know, more money for, like, you know, a bigger cart. So, like, you know, they rather choose, like, you know what, let's take this X amount, like, you know, that we need for just maybe 2 games, and then they just make the last one downloaded. So it's not that they can't fit it all on a singular cart, it's just the fact that because it costs them more money and they don't know if the investment is actually worth it, which is why they're like, you know, you know what, we're just going to take this like 16 gig or, like, you know, whatsoever, like however big, like, you know, the game might be. But still, like, you know, hopefully, like I said, they could at least get 2 in there. That would be good enough for me. As if they could get 2 games in there and just 1 that I need to download, I'll be okay with that. But anyway, let me know what you think. So feel free to comment below and, like, you know, ask away, like, you know, what would you guys want? Like, you know, do you guys think it was all gonna fit on a singular cart, or, like, you know, do you just feel like, yeah, it's probably gonna only have 1 or 2 and then just have to download the others? But anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you like this video, consider subscribing and give it a like. If not, hit a dislike, that's fine, and I'll be back soon. Thank you so much, guys, for watching again. Have a great day.